When I was a teenager and even in my early 20s, I was like a complete industrial goth. So the idea of dance music culture was not interesting to me at all until I heard Aphex Twin. My name is Jason Amm, and I release music under the name Solvent. You hear this about bands a lot, especially bands in the, in the 80s or something like that, where they didn't think that they could make music until they heard punk. And it made them realize, I don't need to strive to get signed to a major label. I'm just going to do this. It never occurred to me really that I could just have a bunch of synths in my studio and record what I was doing, and that would be worthy of release. Aphex Twin was like my punk rock experience, my punk rock revelation, I guess. I had this opportunity to borrow this specific synthesizer, which a friend of mine bought from an auction. It used to belong to Richard James, Aphex Twin, and he scratched the liner notes to Selected Ambient Works on the bottom of it. I think that's a milestone release, and I think that in time this will be a very valuable piece of music memorabilia. So I made an entire EP with this one synth as the single sound source. Every single sound that's on the record was originated from this one particular synth. I have these tendencies, these melodic tendencies that are repeating all the time. Whenever I make my best music, I'm definitely in some kind of a zone. I'm not experiencing what's going on around me, or I completely lose track of what's going on in my life. Through my music, I feel like I'm able to express some complex emotions and feelings that I couldn't put into words. I have put out a fair amount of vocal songs. But I really hate writing lyrics. I feel like these melodies are expressing something more complicated and more abstract than something I could put into words. If you can feel what I'm feeling about these melodies, then you're probably experiencing something of my personality. Really kills me sometimes that I'm like, I have this, this 15+ year career, and it's like, I'm still relatively obscure, and I'm still, running into situations where I get ripped off, like, whether through my label, maybe like a distributor didn't pay me, or I had a show where I got ripped off, and it's actually more heartache than it is positive sometimes, to be so committed to this music, which is, not that popular. I'm just driven, obsessed, unable to stop making music.